Hi, in this mini series of livecast, we have been focusing on behaviors. And so the question is why? Why? Right. So, one of the things that we have to look at is that if we have an enterprise and we want to export our goods and services to a foreign land, one of the things that we know is that we have to, one, get comfortable with their language if we really want to make a breakthrough, and also their culture. And so that is the fundamental principle, is that we need to connect on another level if we really want to make a breakthrough in our relationships and in our capacity to get business. And so if we look at it that, okay, you're saying my teammate is here, this customer speaks English, I speak English, or I speak Chinese and they speak Chinese, so there's no problem with our language. However, there is a concept of a language of behaviors, how we navigate through life, how we perceive um, life's unfolding events, how we prefer to receive information, how we prefer to give information. That's what we're calling our behavioral styles. And when there is a disjoint in terms of a lack of understanding as to your behavioral style, what is it that you would have me to say and do, and how you want us to interact, is different from mine, there is a disjoint. And that's where we have an issue. And so, in order to increase our connectedness, in order to deepen our relationships, that's why we're doing this series. And it is a question then of how to adapt to, or in many instances, adopt a particular behavioral style in order to achieve increased impact and influence. Hi, I'm Trevor E.S. Smith. I'm at the Successful People Academy, and I'll be your guide as we look at today's issue, which is working with S-style behavior. How do we connect better with S-style customers, colleagues, family members, teammates, friends, so that we can deepen relationships? We can make our teams work function better by learning to speak S behaviorally. All right. So that's, I hope we have laid the foundation as to why it is that we're doing this. And so the task then is to either adapt to or adopt the S style, behavioral style. But let us understand it a little bit better. All right. Let's go. So here it is. Amazing. I am Joseph. Listen to this. Your brother. So I'm your family member. I am your kin, blood relative, who you sold into slavery in Egypt. Yeah. So this is it. The brothers have come to Egypt. You know, long story. If you read Genesis, you will see it. And so Joseph is there now, and Joseph is in second to Pharaoh, yes, in power. They have not recognized Joseph. So Joseph could have killed them. Joseph could actually even ignore them and let them starve. Yeah, because there's a famine, so they have come to buy food. And eventually Joseph can't hold it back any longer. And he says to them, hey guys, it's me. I'm the one that you sold into slavery. And he says, hey, but I don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about this. No. Yeah. Now, why am I raising this? Because that is the core of understanding a style behavior. That idea of self self denial, in a sense, loving your neighbor as yourself, those kinds of ideas that are here. The idea that I'm willing to sacrifice myself. I will give up my right for a peaceful life. Those are some of the underpinning concepts where people find it challenging sometimes to understand a style. And people will say, "Hey, are you gonna make people run all over you? Why are you so submissive? Why are you not more assertive?" Those are some of the considerations. But basically, that philosophy in this passage, if you think of Joseph, if you want to adapt to or adapt the style, it helps. All right, so let's move forward. We try to be out of here within 30 to 35 minutes. So I'm going to pick up the speed and go a little faster here. So we put up this model because people are coming new at all times. And of course, the concept is that this model looks at classifying how people navigate through life, the philosophy, the worldview. And so Jung said that there are 4 basic toolkits, and the toolkits are full of nuanced behaviors. So we can pull up 4 different approaches to cope with life. Basically, that's what it is. And normally, an individual has a preference for 1 or 2, and they're not as comfortable with 1 or 2 of the 4 toolkits. But we all go into some of these toolkits at some point in time. Right? So the S, as you can see over here, is the green zone. Yeah? So it's more people-oriented and reserved, more indirect, politically correct, milk of human kindness flowing through there. That's it. Steadiness, supportiveness, harmony. Those are some of the things. We're going to go through that. That's the style that we are talking about. And the statistics indicate that this is, in most populations, well, certainly in the world population, this is by far the most used toolkit. All right. So here's the secret. Here's the secret to adapting. And I think I've made it clear to you why it is that we need to be able to adapt our style to different circumstances or when we are relating to different people. They want to hear you just the same way that you're speaking to the foreign customer. You need to speak in a language that they're comfortable with, and you need to observe their culture. So that's where it is. So the key here, we have some of these ideas here. One, I think, is to look at goals. What are the objectives? What is it that you're trying to achieve in this particular situation? And so, for example, if we wanted to look at the questions of consistency, reliability, dependability, then that's the S toolkit for sure. If you want to enhance long-term customer relationships, that again falls into the style toolkit. That's the idea. Whereas on the other hand, if we, for example, wanted to be fast, decisive, making decisions without a lot of information, then you look into the D toolkit. Yeah. If you want to have agents run your HIV clinic, then you want to look at persons who have a mindset that is more oriented to C style tools. That's the idea. All right. So let's bear down on this style now. And the whole idea is to embrace the thinking, the mindset that goes into the style behavior. And we want to be able to identify it. And some of it basically is the soft tone, the warmth, the feeling that I'm going to make you comfortable. Yeah. And so there's that air of calm. I know people tend to get flustered, but there seems to be ice water running through the veins of our style users. Listening is at the heart. This is a differentiator. The way that the style listens, and you listen from inside your shoes. So there's a lot of empathy. The style also wants to know how one, hear the plan, I hear it, but I don't want to make mistakes. I want to hear how to. Give me details step by step as to how am I going to achieve things. So if you want to emulate, mimic, adapt the style, one of the things that you will need to look at then is the whole question of eye contact. Trust is a key pillar of I-style behavior. And so trust is also aligned with being able to make eye contact. I can look you in the eye and I can see whether I can trust you. If you have a shifty eyes, maybe not. So also, as I mentioned, the calmness, that welcoming, that until of course you reach the trust, the feeling of empathy. I understand. Look at it. Joseph is saying, listen to me, guys, don't feel bad. It's not your fault. Right? And so also a willingness to share and to help, support, steadfastness. Once a job has been begun, never leave it till it's done. That's straight out of a style. It's a question of once you give me something and I'm clear about what it is that I need to do, you need not worry because I'm going to pursue it. I'm going to be there. So the whole question of stability, being willing to support, all of those are there. I want to talk about the sentimental in the sense that unlike the D style, for example, or the I style, the S style mentality is that things are important. So if I, lend you a pen, for example, I expect it back. It's not hoarding or anything. It's just that acquiring things require a lot. And so therefore, if it is mine, I would prefer to get it back. Yes. Okay. The whole question of the status quo and the single-mindedness, that's where the style gets a lot of pushback to say they don't like change and they don't. But the whole question is reliability. I'm giving you what it is that you need. I'm also making sure I'm consistent. So if we have consistent change, how can I then be reliable? That's it. If today we're doing it this way, tomorrow is another way. Every time we do fundamental changes, and going back at the beginning of the queue, I cannot be that reliable. So that's one of the things that we have to think about is, do we just change for change's sake? And if we're going to change, why not prepare the persons? Why not give me the instructions? Why not prepare me to be as effective as I was before? That's the key. All right. So the other big issue is what we see on the right here in terms of the sucker. What does that really mean? All right. So quick overview of this concept, the concept of the emotional bank account. And we all operate an emotional bank account. And how it really works is that if you do something nice, something pleasant, then that's a deposit. On the other hand, if you do something that is unpleasant for me, that's a withdrawal. Okay. So everybody sort of balance their account and hope that they are getting more deposits than withdrawals. And if you get more deposits than withdrawals, then that person is usually closer. You draw closer. That's it. Hopefully your friends are delivering more pleasant experiences than unpleasant. Now, unlike the other styles, the S style has a very lenient policy in terms of overdraft. So you do something bad, and they give an excuse for it. They say, well, maybe he didn't really mean it. All right, go back again to Joseph. It's not your fault. No. You sold me to slavery. Not your fault. It's that kind of leniency. And so people get a lot of overdraft. They do wrong things, and they balance in terms of unpleasant experiences, sometimes far exceed the pleasant experiences, but yet still the S style individual will say, give some excuses and so on. And that's why somebody might say that they are suckers, you can just take advantage of them, etc. However, there comes a time when something happens to trigger in the mind of the S style individual that, hey, maybe Trevor is taking me for granted. Maybe Trevor is abusing my leniency, in which case S-style individuals cause the loan or closes the account, close the bank, close the street to the bank. And that's why you need to understand that, especially for D and I style individuals, that there comes a time when that submissiveness is thrown off. And that individual becomes really tough to deal with. So you would not understand that. It's the same S-style colleague who you thought you could step over, who is now so challenging and so tough. Just sharing. All right. No, I'm not suggesting that if you're adapting the style, that you have to give all of that overdraft. As a matter of fact, one coaching for S-style individuals is to be less submissive. Be less submissive. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you want to adopt the S-style, or to just be able to better understand the thinking that goes on in S-style world, is a lot more informal and low pressure. Life is, you know, we don't have to be so hectic and rushing around. We can achieve our goals through a steady, forward pushing path. So, so that's where the method comes in. Let us have clarity as to what it is that we are doing and patiently move towards our goal. That's steadfastness that we talk about. The listening is very important. You have to put aside some of that rush. Some of the D style, for example, is the sentence starts and we sort of think we know where it's going and we're saying, okay, we've got it. No, wait, listen carefully to the end. There is a quiz, a school challenge quiz. There is a speed section where you have to press a buzzer, a buzzer when the question is asked. And if you get it right, you get 3 points. If you get it last, you lose the points. And in some instances, the schools press the buzzer because, oh yes, I studied this. But then there's a part of the question that they didn't wait until it's finished. That's the problem. The S-style doesn't want to get caught in that. They want to hear you, they want to understand fully what it is, and they want to be empathetic. So that's important for you to, either if you're adopting the style or you want to relate to the style, is wait, listen carefully to what I'm saying. Yes, maybe we had discussion before, but there's a nuance that I want to bring to the table. And maybe there are new developments. So please listen. And of course, sincerity. We want to be transparent. We don't want to be hypocritical and we're smiling here, but on the inside we're thinking something else. The S-style wants to be transparent. And that's why loyalty is so important. And when you breach that loyalty, when you breach that trust, then I'm not sure about your sincerity. And so therefore I step back. Those are some of the things that we need to understand about operating with the S-style. Talked about the how to. I want to get the instructions. I don't want to make errors. I want to be clear about what it is. And then if we're making plans, how do the plans impact people? That's important. And that's a contention that we have in businesses all over, is that to what extent are we taking the people factor into consideration when we're making plans? Yeah, when we're making decisions, how these decisions impacting people. Yep. And so a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, yes. So that is one of the pushback that people have against the S-style, is that they're too emotional, they're too sensitive. But is too a proper word? Or should we say, yes, they are sensitive, and in this climate where people are really just rushing ahead, should we not be more sensitive? That's a question. All right. The other issue, point I want to raise from here is this whole question of the sensitivity that we just talked about, where the S-style understands that in many instances they don't wear their concerns and so on their sleeves. They don't come out readily to say, I'm having this issue or I'm having this challenge. But they know that there is an issue there. And so what the style would want to do is to not just say, hi, Trevor, how are you? But when, I'm responding, they want to stop. They want to understand. They want to see, are there unspoken challenges that Trevor is going through so that they can potentially help, or they might just listen. So they don't assume that when somebody says, no, man, I'm fine, that is enough. They actually want to hear. No, tell me some more. I'm here for you. That's part of what you have to do. All right, so let's pick up the speed here. So basically, we want to have consistency. What I've tried to do here is to use the images there that's supposed to be sunrise and sunset. That's the ideal situation for Estelle. They want to have that reliability, the fact that there's a routine, there's a system that works, and we work that system. And if we do that consistently, we're going to get the desired results. That's essentially what we're looking at here, and patiently go through it. And if we trust each other and we live in a harmonious environment, listen to each other, care about each other, and provide support, then we will get where we want to get. So what are some of these sweet spots, as I call it here? A calm environment. To breathe easily, no pressure and unnecessary, untimely requirements. Let's do this, and the time is not adequate to do it. And so, if we're waiting patiently, that's fine. If we can get to a point where we can bring what it is that we need to do into sort of routines in which we can sort of develop muscle memory, we're going to be more efficient. If you do the same thing over and doing it well, we're going to get better and better at it. And that's this S-style mentality. Consistently doing the thing, improving as we go along, consistently doing the thing, improving as we go along. That's it. And of course, we're going to do much better if we collaborate, if we have strong teamwork, if we help each other, and if we understand that when we help each other, it is appreciated and people are happy to share how they feel about our support. Some turnouts, yelling, do not shout. Do not shout. Shouting is impolite. It's not civilized and sophisticated. People don't shout at each other. Yes. So actually, amazing thing about this is that the more angry or upset the S-style user is probably they're going to speak even more softly. It's good. Did I say that? Did you hear me say that? So they start to count words when you hear your style colleague starting to count words. You know that shoo shoo shoo. Did you hear me say that? Okay, all right. So no yelling, no shouting, please. And of course, sarcasm or insensitivity. Why are you asking me to do this when you know the circumstances that I'm under, right? Yeah, the change we talked about that you need to plan it and we need to prepare for it. But don't just try something for something's sake, because then that runs counter to the idea of the consistency and the reliability. Conflicts, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's resolve it, because we shouldn't really be harboring anger and frustration and we're not talking to each other. That is not helpful as we journey forward. Right? So the unrealistic deadlines is what I mentioned as well, is that we have a plan. Let's plan it. Okay, if you forgot something, well, it's not really my responsibility that you forgot it. I'm going to try and help, but understand that it might not be possible to achieve your objectives, because I know, based on my experience of having to do this over years, that it's going to take an hour and a half. So the 20 minutes that you have given me, um, I can't get it done. So, so for some examples, Mandela is clear, it's a sort of Joseph Almond situation where you're imprisoned, etc. And, basically came out and sought reconciliation instead of revenge. That's beautiful. And another angle is the Mother Teresa approach, where there's this desire to support, to help, this steadfastness, this empathy, this commitment to supporting others. So those are classical examples of S-style behavior. So what is our key takeaway as we go back through this? Let us stop for a minute and just think about what it is that we're looking at. So we're looking at modifying our behavior, being able to speak different languages behaviorally. That's the goal. The goal is for us to, in every single situation, there is a tool, there is a behavior that is ideal. So that's what it is. The whole idea is what behavior is best in this situation and how can I adapt to or adopt that behavior. That's flexibility. That's the mindset that I'm trying to encourage you to adopt, where you're looking at it to say, no, I am D, and so therefore I'm going to use my D all the time, or I am I. And sometimes that's the problem that we have with these DISC assessments, is that individuals who put them out, who share them, do not educate the users. And so people have them as like a mark on their forehead, this is your style. And so therefore they have a sense that they are wed to that style. And that's not it. What we have are a set of tools, and we need to put up the right tools. That's it. If we need decisiveness in a strong competitive thing, then maybe we need to look into the D toolkit for an appropriate tool. If we want to have clarity in terms of planning and systems and structure, then maybe we need to look into the C toolkit for an appropriate set of behaviors, set of actions. If we want to be more creative and connected with individuals, then we might need to look in the I toolkit for an appropriate set of actions. And if we want to have this reliable, this communal, this harmonious kind of atmosphere, environment, then we might need to look into the S toolkit for appropriate actions, appropriate behaviors. That's the mentality. So the idea is not I am this or you are that. The idea is in this situation, in this environment, this set of tools are appropriate. And I want to develop my capacity, my ability to freely, quickly, easily move from one set of tools to another. Yes. So even within a minute or two in the same conversation, you could be actually having your fingers in different toolkits. Yeah. So I could be here trying to encourage an audience to motivate, change their behavior. So I'm in a motivational mode, which I suppose you could look at it as maybe I style that I should be looking at. Then I'm also looking at the clock at the top there to say, hey, I'm running out of time, so I'm using my C. That's what I'm saying to you. So you could be in the different toolkits. Let's just have a conversation about how we can help your team and you to actually adopt and adapt to different styles more freely. We work with teams, we work with individuals. Yes, we also prepare you, give you a platform by using the extended behavioral DNA assessments and our discerning model of communication and leadership to guide you as to how to understand your DISC assessments better. Yeah. So send me an email, info@successwithpeople.org, or you can just send me a WhatsApp chat. 876-535-6677. And by the way, these live casts are available on our YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com and it's at Extended Disc Solutions, at Extended Disc Solutions. And we hope that you find value in them so you can go there. Who are we? We are Success with People Academy. We are a division of the InfoServe Group. We are actually SHRM recertification providers, which means that if we give you do a workshop or so on, you can get certification with professional development credits that can be applied to SHRM CP or SHRM SCP recertification. Basically, that means that we operate at high international standards. So, yeah, we deploy our learning model of communication and leadership. Also, our REAL leadership framework. That's what we do to help individuals, teams, and organizations to be more productive. And as a base platform for that, we use diagnostics from Extended Disc and the Revolutionary Things platform. Thank you for your time. Happy to have a conversation. Send me a WhatsApp message, 876-535-6677, or you can send an email to info@successwithpeople.org. Thanks. See you next week.